going on, Jeromes? Fired up on this beautiful Thursday. We got 5 good questions from our Q&A tab, so diving on in. Tadaratar. Yeah. Do you have comps for the top 5 quarterbacks in this draft? Well, I'll do you one better, and we got a little bit carried away. So these are always fun, and I feel like some draft snobs see this as lazy scouting, but I'm not a scout. I'm just a fan of the draft, and this helps me. Are comps ever perfect? No, but this helps me sort of visualize what a player could potentially bring to the table based on previous examples. But Drake May, North Carolina, come on, raise up. We said this a bunch. So the good parts of Justin Herbert and the good parts of Josh Allen. Basically, a big-time arm, all 3 levels, has athleticism for days, long and lanky and lean, just sort of like Josh Allen. I think that Drake May is going to fill that similar role. So it'd be funny if he ends up in New England and they face off twice a year. Spider-Man pointing meme. Caleb Williams. So I think that Caleb Williams is going to be shorter than a lot of people think. He's listed as 6'1". I think he may just be above 6 foot. Now, the height comes in. The Mahomes comps are there, right? The making plays off schedule, the magical plays, of sometimes forcing things. Who knows? But I feel like the schoolyardness of him sometimes. I mean, that's Johnny Manziel, and Caleb Williams. He's not like a plus athlete, but he certainly has mobility in the pocket, and he will buy time, and he will try and pull a Fran Tarkenton a little. Maybe Tarkenton's a bit like Mahomes Tarkenton. That one's kind of spicy. I like that one. Jaden Daniels, tall G3. So RG3 was light, but he was about 6'2". Jaden Daniels is 6'4", and he's listed at 210. But yeah, in your bra. But Jaden Daniels, I mean, people forget about RG3 because of the way that his career ended up as a backup, and also his time in Washington getting replaced by Kirk Derb. RG3 was a boss at Baylor, man. Like, he helped put Baylor football on the map, and he was exciting to watch. A true dual threat, also big-time arm. Jaden Daniels is that. Jaden Daniels is certainly that. Michael Penix Jr. So left-handed Phillip Rivers, also with fewer kids. But just the way that the ball pops, and with Penix, like, he does have a quasi sidearm delivery just like Rivers, but standing tall in the pocket, dropping piss missiles, and also, I mean, Penix Jr., no matter how the game goes, he's always going to have the ball down 7 with a minute 12 left and no timeouts, looking to do something, just like Rivers and the Chargers every single week, man. Bo Nix, Case Keenum. Yeah, so Bo Nix, I have a lot of concerns about his deep ball velocity and accuracy. And yes, the numbers were what they were at Oregon, and he did have to operate the offense, but I got concerns. Now, I think that Nix is heady enough, and I think that he does have some athleticism and functional accuracy underneath, that I think that he could be a high-end backup for a number of years, like Case Keenum. Maybe if your starter goes down, he could take on a magic carpet ride, sure, but I don't quite see it. Like, I want to believe, but I don't quite see it yet. J.J. McCarthy, mobile Goff. Now, this one's going to get some flack. It's like, oh, but Jared Goff is blah, 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 blah. I mean, Jared Goff, when he's surrounded with weapons, when he has a viable run game, when he plays within the system, he does pretty well. But J.J. McCarthy obviously has a lot more ability than Jared Goff does. But don't remember, Jared Goff was the number 1 overall pick in 2016. So, I mean, Jared Goff was very highly heralded coming out of Cal. And Goff has a big-time arm. He can throw an accurate ball. McCarthy has all the tools. He's just sort of held back in the Michigan scheme. But I think that McCarthy, is he going to be a guy that you win because of? I don't know. Goff is not a guy that you win because of. He's a guy that if everything is great around him, because remember, Goff went to a Super Bowl with McVay and the Rams when they had like peak Todd Gurley, and that offense was clicking, man. And same thing with Detroit. I mean, offense is looking really damn good right now. But is he a guy that can just raise you by himself? I don't know. I think McCarthy could fit that mold. Michael Pratt of Tulane, so Diet Dak, where he's got the tools, he's got the arm, he's got accuracy. Doesn't have the mobility that Dak does. Even Dak's not a running quarterback, but Pratt is less than that. But could he be a guy that ends up being a 4th-round pick like Dak Prescott coming out of Mississippi State, and then is a backup for a while, then eventually gets a shot, then takes over? I could see that. I could see Michael Pratt being a regular starting quarterback in the NFL. Jordan Travis, FSU. So less arm Baker. So I love the attitude, I love the leadership, love the intangibles. Just Travis. Baker's does have a decent arm, but Jordan Travis he's sort of like Bo Nix, like everything underneath and intermediate is functional, but deep. I don't know. A rattler, Tyler Huntley. Well, Tyler Huntley with a little bit of Manziel in there now. He does have athleticism, which is great. He does take chances. He does ramble and gamble a little bit, which is kind of exciting. But, he lost his job to true freshman Caleb Williams back at Oklahoma. And at South Carolina, he was okay in points. But, I don't know. Sam Hartman, Greg McElroy. Basically because Sam Hartman should just get into TV now. It's over. It's finito. McElroy was great at Alabama. He had like a cup of coffee with the Jets. He's just like, this ain't for me. I'm getting into TV. Sam Hartman's going to kill in TV. He's going to be great. Joe Milton III, Tyree Jackson. Right, so Milton, who was in college for like 75 years, also at Michigan. So Tyree Jackson was actually back in the day, KJ Osborne's quarterback at Buffalo before KJ spent a year at Miami. And Jackson declared early, and he's like 6'7", 230, big time arm, but it just didn't translate. And that's exactly what Joe Milton is right now. Where Joe Milton's like a freaking brick house. Like he's 6'6", he's like 260, and he's got a big time arm, yes, but you've seen the videos, accuracy is not there. And also, like, how can you not put up big numbers in a Josh Heupel offense? I don't understand it. So, frankly, I think Milton should transition to tight end right meow. Like, could you use him as a Taysom Hill? Actually, maybe that's a better comp, Taysom Hill. Except Taysom Hill doesn't have Milton size. But, maybe Logan Thomas, Washington. Logan Thomas is a decent NFL tight end. So, maybe he goes that route. Maybe he's a trick play guy, wildcat quarterback like Taysom Hill. It's possible. Next up, Road Warrior. Running back Schrader from Missouri. Not even a question, just a statement, but I like it. And I do like Schrader from Mizzou. I think he's going to end up like probably a 4th or 5th round pick, but a little bit old of a prospect. Can't confirm this. He's either 23 or going to be 24. He's been in college for 5 years. Originally at Truman State and then transferred to Mizzou, 5'9", 214. I kind of like him because he's extremely productive and did it in the SEC, which is great. 1,627 yards, rushing champ, 14 touchdowns, 5.9 yards per carry, consensus All-American, Bullsworth Trophy winner for best walk-on, and good balance, tough runner, runs low to the ground, and powerful packs a punch. It's kind of like a combination of Maurice Jones-Drew and Chris Ivory running the rock. Also runs to, who was the running back that was, I think it was number 20 for the Packers. He played at Hawaii, I believe. That's going to bug me. Yeah. But not a burner. He's probably not going to test the greatest either. But he just knows how to run the football. Like, he's patient. He can read his blocks and his keys well. So I think that he will find a spot in the NFL. Like, he's going to be like a sort of a Tyler Algier type, maybe. But I think that he would certainly have utility in an NFL locker room somewhere. Kanye West's biggest fan. Does fixing the run game come down to more of our offensive line or running backs? Well, it's a classic cop-out answer. It's both. But also, I feel like the Vikings have to get back to building a bully up front. And I love me some Dalton Reiser. He should be back. But frankly, if the Vikings just wanted to go fish and just get 330-pound offensive linemen and also cut Bradbury, I wouldn't be mad. Wouldn't be upset. But even though the Vikings offensive line run game had issues and also being on your 4th quarterback, defenses were stacking the box. And frankly, I don't think that Kevin O'Connell or Curtis Modkins, run game coordinator, were doing that good of a job in 2023. But, also the running backs were not great. Their yards per carry after contact was the bottom of the league for running backs, and it was just not good. So an infusion of talent on that side, maybe bringing in a hammer like Derrick Henry, as well as bringing in like Bucky Irving in the mid rounds, or hell, like bringing Cody Schrader. Don't care. Yeah, don't care. Or Dylan Laub from New Hampshire. one of my favorites. Go that route. The lost sound. I think the cornerback room for defense is deep this year, as well as I think we need to draft one first round for the Vikings. What are your thoughts? I think that. All right, so Murphy can stay healthy. I think he's your best corner right now. Evans and Booth Jr., who were drafted before Flores came in, so he didn't have a hand in saying, like, hey, I like this guy, hey, I don't. And it's pretty clear the way that the pecking order broke down. It's like, yeah, he was with the team, and I'm sure that he gave his 2 cents when the Vikings signed Byron Murphy Jr. He was with the team. I'm sure he gave his 2 cents when the Vikings drafted Mekhi Blackmon at the bottom of the 3rd round in 2023. But Evans and Booth, I mean, Evans got benched 7 times, and Booth didn't get the time of day. So I sort of count them as sort of whatever at this point. But I think the Vikings should and could take a gander at cornerback. Now, the Vikings hit rate, now this is a very stupid way to think about things, but the Vikings hit rate at the top of the draft at cornerback hasn't been great as of late. But if they want to address it in free agency, L'Jarius Sneed, going after Jalen Johnson, addressing it in that manner, sure. But also, I mean, if the board breaks right and the Vikings have, say the Vikings are good to go at quarterback, and also Daniil is back, I mean, taking a chance on Terrion Arnold or even Quinion Mitchell, I don't think would be outlandish. Maybe even Nate Wiggins. Maybe if the Vikings do trade down in the first round, I wouldn't necessarily be mad at it. Also, I think there's going to be a number of very solid mid to late round cornerbacks in that mix. I mean, Cam Hott is obviously one of them. Chris Abrams-Drain from Mizzou. Another guy that's rising up very, very, very quickly. Also his teammate, Ennis Rakestraw. So, I mean, adding another Mizzou cornerback, Caleb Evans will be happy. But I think that there's lots of ways that the Vikings can infuse talent there. Plus, I mean, simply having a better and more consistent pass rush where you don't have to rush an extra guy blitzing every single time, that's magically going to help out the back end. I'm very much a build your defense from the front to the back type guy, and we'll see what happens. Lastly, Big D, what positions do you think will be addressed through free agency instead of the draft this offseason? Well, so I think the Vikings aren't really in a position to go big time money on the edge, as premium guys are $20 million per year. If they do, it's going to be Daniil. So hopefully he stays around. But I could see them adding along the defensive interior, Christian Wilkins, Matabuke, or cornerback, the aforementioned Sneed, potentially Jalen Johnson in that mold. I mean, maybe they re-sign Reisner. Maybe they bring in some veteran interior offensive line depth, sure. Draft-wise, I think that if Daniil leaves, hammering on the edge makes sense in terms of a cost efficiency standpoint, as well as potentially running backs, as well as potentially interior offensive line. So, I mean, there's lots of ways to go about things. Preferably, I would look to instantly improve the defense by getting a guy that is good at cornerback and defensive interior, and I think that would automatically launch the Vikings defense into the stratosphere. So there you go. But that's it. 5 good Vikings questions. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.